Yeah, when I think about inflation, I'm glad you went there. There's actually two sides of the coin. One is, right, if the Chinese economy is struggling, their producers are going to do what all producers do and cut prices.
Yep.
So the stuff that they are still producing that we are buying probably go down,
Yep.
probably are truly deflationary, not disinflation or inflation, but deflation, lower prices. But to your point, there's been a clear pivot, change, improvement, whatever you want to call it, by saying, hey, we can no longer trust ABC. We need to make some of these things back home. And back home is more expensive. Now, I don't think that ripples through our economy in 2023. Maybe it shows up in late 2024 because it takes time to build manufacturing plants and do this and do that and all of that. It is one of the reasons that inflation will be sticky for the next 4 to 5 years because we are, bringing some manufacturing back home. But I think in the near term, we might see some true deflation in stuff that China produces. Is that reasonable?
That's a reasonable thought. I actually tend to think the other side of it. I think that there is more inflationary pressure based upon labor costs than there is deflationary pressure on goods, because goods right now, we've seen essentially goods inflation roll over. Where we're seeing the pressure here in the United States is going to be on the service side. And so that is the reason it's service oriented, is because servers is almost all labor, right? And so if we take the labor component of the goods side and start to inflate that, that becomes a little bit of a scarier proposition for me. But, maybe in the real immediacy, maybe you're right to say that, yeah, they're deflationary, because they legitimately are posting, and we've talked about this, deflation in their country right now. So that can have a real effect, and it can cause producers to say, like, oh boy, let's get this off the books while we can. And therefore I could see it. So I'll revoke my comment. I say, very near term, maybe it's a wash. I think longer term, you have the labor pressures forcing inflation higher. And we're seeing labor pressures everywhere right now, right?
Yeah.
We talked about UPS, but the UAW, United Auto
Yeah.
Workers, are
September.
September 14th. It's like, not to use a violent term, I won't even go there. Anyway, it's like the Russian roulette almost. It's just a violent term. My apologies there, but you get what I'm saying. Where
Yeah.
someone's got to give. Someone
Oh
has
no,
to give.
they're going to go on strike. They're frankly, they saw what UPS got. They saw what airline pilots got. All these
Yep.
folks see what other unions are getting, and they don't
Yep.
want to be seen as the weak union. They have
Yep.
130,000 members. They're gonna hold GM and Ford and some others hostage. Um, they're going. I mean, they have a strike fund of almost $1 billion, right? So, um,
That's what people don't realize is I think people don't realize is the preparation that goes into the front end of this, because they're like, hey,
yeah,
how could people possibly afford just to sit on the sidelines and not get a paycheck? That's what that strike fund is for.
yeah, they got 875 billion or $1 million. I don't know, whatever, a lot of money. I think it was almost $1 billion. So eight hundred
Yep.
seventy-five.
And they're saying from the headlines, and I haven't delved too far into this yet, but the UAW president has been more willing to strike in his
Oh,
history, and more rhetoric around striking than the
oh,
others
it's
have had.
happening. It's happening.
Yeah.